Alright, so the New York Giants, a pretty great franchise. They're tied with the Packers and the Chiefs for the third most Super Bowl titles with 4 wins, something most people forget. This team was created back in 1925. Since then they have been bad then good and repeat over and over again up to today. They won the first of those 4 titles in 1987 off the back of a truly legendary team. I'm talking about guys like LT, Phil Simms, and Mark Ingram Sr., but let's talk about their best quarterbacks of all time. So this was surprisingly lackluster. The Giants are kind of like the Bears in the fact that they try to get an overpowering run game and a suffocating defense. Only the Giants have had slightly better quarterback play, leading to 4 times as many Super Bowl wins. Anyway, the best Giants quarterback of all time is the Sheriff's little brother Eli Manning. Despite being worse than his big brother, he's still a very good quarterback, with 57,000 career yards, 366 passing touchdowns to 244 interceptions. Now number 2, Phil Simms, was pretty decent with 33,000 yards, 199 touchdowns, and 157 interceptions. Both Simms and Manning brought the Giants 2 Super Bowls. And number 3, Charlie Connerly, this dude was ancient but still managed 19,000 yards, 173 touchdowns, and 167 interceptions. Now, while all those guys had pretty great careers, let's talk about their best players that were quarterbacks, and if we talk about that, we have to talk about the one, the only, Lawrence Taylor. This linebacker that played from 1981 to 1993, he is the best linebacker in NFL history and considered by many the greatest NFL player ever. That's right, not only best at his position, but the best ever in the entire sports history. In his illustrious 13-year-long career, he got 142 sacks, almost double the single-season record for team sacks. Yes, in his career he got double the sacks any team has gotten in a year. Anyway, enough praise for the GOAT. Let's talk about their second-best player ever. Number 2, Michael Strahan. This defensive end is so underrated. He got 141 sacks, and as a lineman got 4 interceptions. This lineman got nearly Lawrence Taylor's stats and nobody talks about him anymore. He was drafted when LT retired and managed to play all the way till 2007. Speaking of 2007, someone who didn't make it to then was Tiki Barber, a really good running back with 10,000 yards and 55 touchdowns, but despite him being great for them, he is hated by the Giants fandom. Number 4, Amani Toomer is the best receiver in Giants history with 9,500 yards and 54 touchdowns. So now that we're done with them, let's talk about the biggest draft bust in Giants history. Cornerback DeAndre Baker, taken 30th overall in 2019. The reason he was a bust was the reason many players' careers fail due to legal issues. But if we're going to talk about the Giants, we have to talk about the craziest thing that's ever happened in Giants history. The day is February 4th, 2007. The New England Patriots up until that point had the greatest season ever, going 16-0 in the regular season to then beat the number 4 seed Jacksonville Jaguars, moving on to the AFC Championship game, where they beat the number 2 seed San Diego Superchargers. Then they waited for who they would play in the Super Bowl, and what do you know, it's the 10-6 New York Giants, who up to that point were underdogs. They weren't even expected to make the playoffs, but they did. Then they somehow beat the 9-7 Buccaneers, who had an amazing defense, 24-10. They then went up against the 13-3 Dallas Cowboys, squeaking past 21-17. Then in the NFC Championship, they played the 13-3 Green Bay Packers, where they beat them with another close game, 23-20. And now the 10-6 New York Giants, who squeaked past almost every game they won that year, were now playing the undefeated New England Patriots. With 2:42 left on the clock, the Patriots scored a touchdown, making the score Patriots 14, Giants 10. With 1:28, the Giants converted a fourth and won their first lucky play of that drive. On 2nd and 5, with 1:16 left on the clock, the Patriots dropped an interception, the second lucky play. The next play on 3rd and 5, Eli Manning escapes the sack, runs around the field, and chucks the ball up to David Tyree, a player in his last season who had only caught 4 passes that year. And he caught it. Eli Manning then gets sacked to an incomplete pass. They then get the first by an inch. Then on the 16-yard line with 39 seconds on the clock, Eli drops back and floats it to the corner, where Giants legend Plaxico Burress gets the game-winning touchdown catch. Possibly the greatest upset in NFL history, The game ends with a 17-14 Giants win. 5 years later, the Giants would beat the Patriots again, solidifying Eli Manning as the owner of Tom Brady in the playoffs. So hope you enjoyed that video. This was probably the funnest to make out of my recent NFL vids. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.